going on, everybody? Welcome to the RBS Cinema Podcast.
I know Kung Fu. Show me.
This is Sparta! I'm thinking I'm back.
Why so serious?
Avengers!
Assemble. I'm Batman.
You better lawyer up, asshole. Because I'm not coming back for 30%. I'm coming back for everything.
I'll be back.
You shall not pass!
RBS.
Lovely.
Welcome to RBS Cinema, you guys. I'm your host, Devin, and with me is returning guest, JK.
I'm here.
So, Sam is not here for
Because he doesn't exist.
whatever, because for whatever reason.
Because he doesn't exist. That's the reason.
Again with this bit.
It's not a bit. It's reality.
I literally told him yesterday too, that like, hey, you better come to the podcast because I'm going to look like a liar again. And here he is, miraculously not here again.
Yeah, Devin talking to himself. Oh, Sam.
Yeah, about Sam, as you point. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully he's got a good excuse for not being here. Like,
Yeah, he doesn't exist. That's why.
yeah, unlike Kat.
That's his reason.
Unlike Kat. And yes, Kat, I'm pointing you out for forgetting to come on your birthday episode. So I will not forget that. But yes, thank you everybody so much for joining in on the podcast. This week's movie, if you remember from last week, we decided to talk about Super Troopers.
Mother of God.
Because the time of this recording, I actually didn't plan this out right because this video was supposed to come out this week, which would have fallen on Easter, which was also 420. So, and only reason why that I decided to talk about this movie, it's not because like, oh, it's a weed movie. It's not. Half Baked is a better like stoner comedy than this one is.
Sure.
I mean, this is still a really good comedy. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it
But-
centers around weed, too. It's the whole, like,
the
main
whole
topic
thing
of it.
Yeah. So it's like, because this movie is also not about weed, but it contains weed. It also has them smoking in one scene. But other than that, it's all like probably next year for 420, depending on whenever that falls, probably do Half Baked, I feel like.
There you go. That'd be a
So.
good pick.
But I decided to talk about Super Troopers because I thought about it and I was like, you know what? That's actually a really funny movie. I haven't seen it in forever. I own it. So, which will not be my bias when we actually talk about this movie. But we'll talk about the vitals, who directed it, starred it, wrote it, all that boring stuff. And then we'll actually open up the discussion about the movie itself. So, movie is about 5 Vermont state troopers, avid pranksters with a knack for screwing up, try to save their jobs and outdo the local police department by solving a crime. Bare bones of what this movie is actually about.
Yeah.
So it's all like, that's just what it is. Got director, writer, and star of the movie is Jay Chandrasekhar. Don't
Nice try.
come at me. I don't really know how to pronounce his last name.
I was waiting for that moment.
So, but for those of you that are not familiar with these guys that are actually the stars of the movie, there are Broken Lizard.
Yep.
Who are comedy troupe. They used to be on the road a lot, kind of like Impractical Jokers, whenever that they would actually go on stage and perform.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, 2 of the Impractical Jokers are not great right now.
We never
Sad.
liked them.
So,
Yep. Well, and I don't know how recently, but in the past couple of years, I know, and forgive me, I don't remember the names of the actors. You'll say them here shortly.
Yeah,
but the actor that plays Farva and the actor that plays Mac, I've seen them last 5 or 6 years. They've released like a comedy special.
Yeah.
So it seems like those 2 dudes, and they went on to go do Tacoma FD as well.
yes, I have
Great
seen that.
show, by the
Yes.
way.
It was really good, except for like the last season. I feel like the last
Yeah,
season
I
kind of
haven't
fell off.
watched last season.
I
but
feel like it
I'm
was
not
kind of
surprised
rushed.
to hear that.
So,
But those 2 for sure, we're still kind of touring within the
Yeah.
recent past.
I guess you can really say that they are a broken lizard now. So, but yeah, no, like these guys were originally like a comedy troupe. Like I'd probably say that they started back in like after college and stuff. It's probably when they all met, I feel like.
Yeah.
And then they're all like, oh, why don't we actually like do comedy?
Right.
And then they started doing
We're kind
that.
of funny. Maybe
Yeah.
we should like troop around.
Yeah. And then they did that, and then they started getting into movies and stuff. So like they did this, they did Beer Fest, they did the one
The Hulu one recently.
Yeah, they did that
Hunchback
one.
I forget what it's named.
Yeah.
Well, they started, and I still haven't seen this one.
Which that was the more recent movie, and it was actually really good. So
Yeah, I feel like I need to rewatch it. I think I wasn't in the mood for it because normally I love Broken Lizard. I mean, even Slam and Salmon.
yeah, Slam and Salmon was another
Was a
one.
great one. The one that I was saying that I haven't seen yet, but really want to is Puddle Cruisers. I think. That was like, yeah, that was their very first one, even before Super Troopers. Everyone knows them from Super Troopers.
Right. That's what cemented them with Super Troopers and Beer Fest.
Put them out in the spotlight. Oh, Beer Fest, so good.
Yeah, that's another good.
Side note, I love at the very end how they like kind of tease the High Fest like sequel movie.
Yeah, and it never actually came in.
No, I don't know if
I
they ever
wish that it did.
intentionally had plans for it, if it was just kind of like a joke or like a what if scenario, but
Right.
yeah. But yeah, they got an amazing filmography. I think every movie just gets better and better. Even Super Troopers 2, I love that movie.
Oh yeah,
so much.
I remember the marketing for that one too, because they were decked out in their highway gear.
Yeah, right.
And they were like, all right, here's the deal. We want to make Super Troopers 2.
Because they crowdfunded it.
Yeah. And they're all like, we want you guys to enjoy this, and we know that you want us to make this, but we can't afford to actually do it.
Yep.
So we're asking for your help. The more money that you put into the pot, the more good stuff that we can do.
And I think it broke records for like the highest like crowdfunded kind of indie movie at that point.
I think so, if I remember. Because yeah, they did that, and then they got like a couple $1 million to make the movie. And
a bunch of $1 million.
Yeah. Like I don't remember how much it made, but it made a good chunk of change though.
Yep.
So which was awesome. And then like just the fact that they were able to get a bunch of people behind them to donate however much money that they felt like to actually get this going.
Yep.
And I think at the
fan.
end they also like shouted out everybody that donated too.
Yeah.
Like under credits.
I think they gave them credits. Yeah,
So,
you're right.
Because
That's great.
I think that's what they also said is like, yeah, you know, like if you want your name in the credits, donate.
Your
even like
backer.
$1.
I think technically that makes them on the like pure technical level. It makes them producers at that point.
Right. Yeah, because like they helped produce the movie, so I
Exactly.
would imagine that it would make them producers.
Yep.
So, but continuing on with the writers, got a few more. Got Kevin Heffernan and Steve Lemmy, and then also got stars being Jay, like I mentioned, Kevin Heffernan, also starring. Got Eric Stolhansky, Steve Lemay.
Lemmy, I think is how you pronounce it.
Yes. Steve Lemmy and Paul Soder. And then got a few more people, just because these are just like actually pretty big names. I think it's going in order of appearance, possibly. So we got Andre Vipalis is his name, Joey Kern, and Jeffrey Arend. And then the other big person that I also wanted to shout out was Brian Cox.
Thank you. I was so happy you mentioned that. So great in this film.
Because,
and I hear he really enjoyed it too. I mean,
yeah.
He came back for the sequel.
Yeah.
And I think I remember hearing that they were surprised about that, but it just goes to show that he really enjoyed being in that crew.
Oh, yeah. Because, like, it's one of these, like, I feel like one-hit wonder movies that a really big actor gets in there.
Yeah.
And then it's all, like, just to basically like, beef up the cast
right.
a little bit.
Give a little bit more street cred, if you will.
Yeah. And then it's all like, oh, shit, this guy's in it? And then it's like, oh, man, that's awesome. And then you're blown away. But then it's also the fact that it's just like they had the most fun on that set. Mm-hmm. And it's all like, I didn't know these guys. I didn't know anything about them.
Right.
But after working with them, they were really good, or like they were really funny and blah, 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 and whatever. Yep. It's like those kinds of stories like you just love to hear. So, But the other thing that I wanted to do was taglines. I think what I'll do is like not doing it as often for movies now. Same thing for like suggestive people, I feel like. So not doing it for every movie. So, but
why not? Great segments.
yeah, that's true. But here we go with taglines. Only got 3 of them this time. Altered State Police. It's like pretty self-explanatory.
Yep.
It's their highway. You're just driving on it. And you don't mess with the law. The law messes with you.
That's a
Which
good one.
that one's actually my favorite once I was reading these, just because of the fact that it's all like they just drive around, they pull people over, and they just do
have
pranks.
all the games.
So, and like especially where Farva, where he finally gets off the radio and he goes like, "Come on, let's play these games I've been hearing about." And he goes like, "What? No games." And he just goes like, he goes like, "Oh,
chicken fucker."
yeah." He just goes like, "Oh, for $20, I'll call him a chicken fucker."
License and registration? Chicken fucker?
Side note, not side note, actually, this is very apt to what we're talking about here. That was actually his parents.
Was
in
it?
That scene.
That's
Apparently
that's
they
hilarious.
just saw them like driving down the road, the highway,
Yeah.
because they were filming on actual highways.
Right.
And they decided to like flag them down and put them in the scene. So that
Nice.
is
That's funny.
Kevin Heffernan's actual parents.
Nice. That's hilarious. But yeah, I'm so glad that these guys decided to like pursue doing these types of movies, because these movies are hilarious. Like,
Oh yeah.
Beer Fest is a really good movie. Like,
Great
you can
movie.
put that on for Oktoberfest, because literally it happens around Oktoberfest.
Yeah, literally.
So, and again, it has the same group of guys that they just like play different characters.
Yep.
And not only that, but then you've got now I'm drawing a blank on their names. Kevin Heffernan and Steve Lemmy, where they both went on to like do other stuff besides this, because like, I don't know, for whatever reason they wanted to do their own stuff or different projects or
Just
whatever,
different opportunities.
and
is what it is.
yeah, and then like they decided to do Tacoma FD.
Yep.
So and
Yep.
it's just like, and if you guys haven't seen that, it's actually a really good show.
Super good
Last time I
show.
checked, it was on Netflix, but that was like last year.
Yeah,
So,
I don't remember
but
what it's on. At this moment.
definitely Google it, see where it's playing, because that's what I usually do for movies or TV shows. It's like, oh man, I really want to see this. Where's it streaming on?
Where is XXX
So-
streaming?
XXX.
XXX,
streaming.
yeah. There's plenty of sites for that, but let's not get into that. Where's ABC streaming? How about that?
yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, there you go. And not Triple X. No, we're not that kind of podcast, I promise. We can if you want us to be, but
We don't like to talk about Vin Diesel.
no. I mean, if you know, we talk about Triple X, then with Xander Cage, then maybe, but not the sequel. Ice Cube was pretty chill, but not the third one.
I can't believe you know his name.
Xander Cage, hell yeah, dude. I grew up on Triple X in more ways than one.
I don't want to continue this conversation anymore.
Good, because now we'll actually talk about the movie.
Good.
But yeah, no, like this movie was just super hilarious, and I remember watching this as a kid. Like it was just super funny, and even when I didn't understand the jokes, they were still funny.
Right.
So like, and now that I'm an adult, and like I said, I haven't seen this in
don't
years.
Understand some of the jokes.
Yeah, because I'm kind of dumb. So
I wasn't gonna say it. Thought it, but I wasn't gonna say it.
yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought that you thought that I thought that you think. But no, like I just was laughing the whole time I was watching this last night.
Oh yeah,
It was
same.
It was hilarious, and you don't even need to be high to enjoy it either.
No.
Like, I mean, like probably would enhance the experience,
Right.
if you wanted to do that. But
Well, it's just one of those movies where if you enjoy like really like kind of stupid comedy or just like
yeah,
really obscene comedy, like it's just gonna fit in that wheelhouse.
oh yeah, and
It's a
especially
classic
if you've
instantly.
seen this, you know when the joke hits, and it's still funny.
Yeah.
Like that's how I was last night. I was all like verbatim, like saying the lines for that,
Right.
and I'm all like, oh my god, this is still hilarious.
Yeah, you know what's coming, you know what's gonna
Yeah.
happen, and you still laugh out
Like
loud.
the first initial scene is like the kids driving down the highway,
Yeah.
and then like they're smoking weed and everything, like they're just talking, whatever, they're just vibing,
Right.
and then all of a sudden, right next to them is the highway patrol,
Yeah, just
and then
staring
they're like
them down.
and then they're all like, oh shit, so then they
Be
like.
cool, man. Be cool.
And then he goes like, "Oh man, get rid of the pot." And so he goes like, "Here, eat this." And so like the kid in the back
Hands it
starts
to the
eating the
dude in
pot.
the
And he goes
back,
like,
what?
"Hey man, like while you're at it," has a bag of shrooms. He goes like, "Those are shrooms, dude." And he goes like, "I know, but like," he goes like, "All right." So he eats all the pot and shrooms,
Yeah.
and then he goes like, "Hey, like, can you?" Brings out another bag of pot, and then he just goes like, "Throw it out the window." And he goes like, all right," and goes like, throws it out, and then they immediately stop. Like the cops behind them just stop, and then they like pull him over. And
Oh, I quote that all the time. Part where they pull them over, talk to them,
yeah,
speed away, and then come back and
yeah,
pull them over again.
Yeah, and then like
Pull the car over.
I'm already pulled over. I can't pull over any further. So great, because then but yeah, like that whole scene is just hilarious, because then they just like initially walk up, they're like, license and registration, and goes like okay, and he goes like officer, and he goes like, license and registration please.
Right.
And then, so then he starts like giving him the info. And he goes like, you know how fast you were going? 65? 63.
Isn't the speed limit 65, officer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Just like how deadpan he plays it
Right,
too. And
both
then
of
like
them.
just confusing the hell out of them.
Right.
And then they're like registration, and then as soon as they like go down to, because like one of the guys drops it, so then they both go down, knock their heads, they're like, my mom's gonna kill me.
Right.
Pops back up with it, and then they just like get back in their car, and then they leave.
They're gone.
And then it's even hilarious timing on this is when the guy in the passenger seat
Oh, God,
like
yeah.
goes like, oh yeah, the pig was lucky I didn't pull out my 9,
You were
and
about
then
to cap
shoot
him.
and
Pop,
then
pop,
and then immediately stops, and then fucking guns it in reverse, and then comes back, and then like
Meanwhile, the dude in the
like,
back seat's like starting,
freaking
all the
out.
drugs are starting to hit him. He's
Yeah.
starting to trip out.
And then just like they're like, pull the vehicle over, and it's just like, oh, we're already pulled over.
Can't
And then
pull over
like
any further.
then he comes walking back up with the flashlight. It's in
Yeah,
the
I
broad
love that.
daylight. He
Broad
comes up with the
daylight
flashlight, and he just goes like, license registration please. And he just goes like, weren't you just here? And he
just
goes like,
gave it to you,
he just
officer.
does it in reverse.
Yeah.
And then he just goes like, license and registration. And then basically he's doing the whole thing again, and it's basically kind of like later on when they dub it as the repeater.
Yeah.
And so it's basically just like the repeater of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they do the whole bit again, asking for the license. Do you know how fast you were going?
he still says 65.
63. And so then he just goes like, I love the guy in the back. He's just like doing like saying random shit. He's just like, candy bars.
Candy bars.
And
I'm freaking out. You are freaking
freaking
out,
out,
man.
man.
I'm freaking out, man. You are freaking out, man.
And then just like the echo effect that he was having, and then he goes like, do you know why I pulled you over? And he goes like, no. And he goes like, pulls out the bag of weed, and he goes like, littering. And he goes like, oh, so that's not ours. He goes like, littering and it's just repeating. And then the guy in the back, like his ears start flexing, because then
Yeah.
he could hear children laughing in the distance. He goes like, littering and smoking the reefer.
Smoking the reefer.
He goes like, oh man. He goes like, and to teach you boys a lesson, we're gonna Officer
Rabbit
Rabbit and I are going to sit here and watch you smoke the whole bag.
thing.
And so he goes like, oh shit. He goes like, please no, because he's already tripping.
Yeah.
Littering and littering and
littering and
littering and smoking the reefer.
Hey, like $130 of drugs.
Yeah. And he goes like, hey man, like, you know, you ate a whole bag of pot, a whole bag of shrooms. He goes like, that's like $130 worth of drugs. And he goes like, yeah, I did. And he goes like,
You're gonna
so
pay me $130.
yeah. And he goes like, whenever you get the chance, you know, pay me back the $100.
Driver's like, that's not cool,
man. Yeah, and then all of a sudden, then they appear behind them, and then that whole shtick. But no, just that whole opening scene, and then, what's his name? Got Mac, who's driving.
Yep, Steve Lemmy.
Yeah, where he's driving past them, and he's just like, "Mother of God!" And then they get in the squad car, they rush towards him, and they go to pull him over, meet at the bar, and just the whole introduction of all these characters is hilarious.
Oh yeah,
with Rabbit and Thorny, and then you've also got Foster, who's fishing.
Yeah, right. It's got a dummy in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and then you hear Farva going on the radio, go like, "You to 91, come here 91," and he goes like, "What are you doing 91?" And he goes like, "Hey, good looking. Find any speeders lately?"
To the dummy.
Yeah, and he goes, I don't know why he did this. He was like pulling the dummy through the driver door.
I mean, it's so clearly just to set up the joke.
Oh yeah, and
for
then
Mac to cruise by.
Yeah, and then
pop
hit
the
him with
off.
the window.
Right.
And then him just hollering, like it's hilarious.
It's so clearly staged, obviously, but it's a funny bit.
Yeah, and then again, the timing of this of Farva just being on the radio. "Come on, 91, get with it." And then like,
do you need my backup?
Yeah, do you need my assistance? And he
Yeah,
goes like, "No, Farva, we got the Miata. Like it's fine."
Right.
And of course, like Farva is just a shithead, but got probably the funniest bits out of the whole movie.
Oh yeah,
like him,
he's a total clown.
like skipping ahead, going to the burger shop.
Yeah, can I get a liter of cola?
He goes like, "Liter of cola? Do we have a liter of cola?" He's like, I had on the subtitles, and he literally thought that the name of the soda was liter of cola.
Liter of cola, yep.
And it's not like a liter of cola. It's like liter of cola. And so he just goes like, "Order a large Farva." "I don't want a large Farva. I want a goddamn liter of cola."
You just order a large Farva.
I don't want a large Farva. I want a goddamn liter of cola. I don't know what that is.
And then
for a cop.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that bit of him going like, "Yeah, let me get the this burger," and he goes like, "All right, this burger, it's for a cop," and he goes like, "What does that mean? He's gonna spit it now?" And he goes like, "No,
no,
don't spit it, don't spit in that cop's burger."
Double bacon cheeseburger. It's for a cop.
Roger. What the hell's that all about? He gonna spit in it now?
No, I was just telling him that so he makes it good. Don't spit in that cop's burger.
Yeah, thanks.
Roger, holding his bit.
Guy in the mic in the back's like, hold the spit.
Hold the spit. It's like, "Got it. Hold the spit."
Right.
And then they go to sit down and eat, and he goes like, Does that look like spit to you?" And he goes like, "Yeah." He goes like, Fuck it." It just eats it anyway.
Right.
And then their whole back and forth with because they're planning on getting shut down, and so they're like, "Oh, what are you planning on doing for the shutdown?" And he goes like, "I don't know, like my girlfriend wants me to I want to move, but my girlfriend wants to stay here, so I don't know what the hell I'm going to do," and blah blah blah. And then on the cups, they peel off to where you can win like $10,000 or something like that.
Yep.
And they're talking, and he goes like, "Oh yeah, like what are you going to do with the money?" He goes like, "And you can't say buy the Cleveland Cavaliers." And he goes like, "Well, I would buy like a $10,000 car." Yeah. He goes like, "Well, you won't get very fast because like I'll
very far, so
like
I'll pull you over."
Yeah, I'll pull you over. And he goes like, "Oh, you wouldn't be able to catch me. Like I'll just have to make my cars grow wings and fly away." And then unpeels it, and like there's a hole that expenses out.
All the soda just
and he goes like, "Son of a bitch!" Right. And so he goes and tackles him over the counter.
Right.
Damn it, you burger punk! You son of a bitch!
Oh God!
But it's so funny. Like it's bits like that are hilarious. But like then you've also got the whole thing of the coffee cream prank, where it's like Farva wants to try to prank them, but he's kind of like the idiot that doesn't know how to actually prank people.
He just takes it too far, and it's like it's not clever at all. Which I'm not saying like you need to be clever with your joking. Stupid jokes like this movie point in case.
I mean, you can easily just like trip somebody. It's like everybody points and laugh, and that's funny.
Funny sometimes, yeah. But
it's like slapstick. But like this isn't
too
like,
far and just not thought out at all.
Yeah,
it's
because even Mac later on in the movie just says like our pranks are cheeky and fun. Farva's is just like tragic and horrendous,
cruel.
Like,
You're right.
So but like when they're all doing their meeting, they like their captain Brian Cox is like talk to them about like, hey, like we need to get more tickets, otherwise our stuff's gonna get shut down and
numbers need to
everything
go
and whatever.
up.
And he tells Farver to go get the coffee, and so he comes back with the coffee. And he
Got them all labeled on the cups.
just the part of him like peeking out, and going like, anybody want any cream?
Yeah. Any cream?
No cream?
No cream?
Okay, no cream. And just like comes back and he just goes like, everybody's taking their coffee, and he goes like, no, don't do that. That's rabbits.
That one's rabbits. Yeah.
Yeah, and he just goes like, all right, fine, I won't
I think
take
he says
rabbits.
stupid rookie or something like that on the cup.
And
too.
then he goes like, oh wow, a bar of soap. And he goes like, haha, I got you good, you fucker.
Well, then Brian Cox is trying to like talk about the numbers.
Yeah,
about, like, his
no,
pass and
he
how
starts
much it
talking about
means
him
to
going to
him.
the bar, and he goes like, yeah, I always have like a glass of scotch or whiskey or whatever,
Right.
and like they always greet me and
They
everything.
always
They don't
have
leave
it
my
ready
name.
for me.
And he
I
goes like,
really
oh hell,
enjoy
give me
that.
the fucking bar of
Well,
soap.
yeah,
and,
yeah.
like,
Rabbit and Mac are like talking. He's like,
take
come
a
on,
bite.
rookie.
Yeah, take a bite out of it. He goes like, ah, fuck it,
put it
I'll
in
take
his face.
like. And so he's like, God damn, give me the bar of soap. And he eats it and he like takes a
Spits
bite,
it at
spits it at
Mac.
him. He was
Yeah.
like, guys, we're gonna get shut down. You guys need to take this seriously.
Right.
Oh, no, that's rabbits. That's rabbits.
Okay, I get it. It's rabbits.
Oh, look, a bar of soap.
Oh, shit, I got you good, you fucker.
I like it here.
Oh, hell. Give me the goddamn soap.
Just that whole bit is hilarious, but yeah, I mean, I don't know how many times I could just say this movie is hilarious, because it is, but even doing the whole cat game, because then you got Jim Gaffigan that also makes an appearance too.
Yeah.
They pull him
Fun
over,
little cameo.
and both Mac and Foster, they come walking up to the car. They were like, okay, do you want to play the meow game?
Right.
He goes like,
The cat game or whatever.
Yeah, do you want to play the cat game? In Thorny, or he goes like, what was Thorny's record? He goes like, he did 6.
Right.
Goes like, I bet that you
I bet
can't
you
do
can do
10.
10.
He goes like, all right. And he comes pulling up just that whole sequence of him just going like,
Oh, it's such a classic scene too. Like,
yeah.
even if you haven't seen the movie, you
know
know
the cat
you know
game.
this cat
yeah,
game.
it's all like him just saying like, do you know why I pulled you over today? He
Right.
goes like, no. He goes like, what's so funny, meow?
Yeah, right.
And it's just hilarious, because then you've also got Mac that's in the passenger side, just like
Oh, and he's
laughing
cracking
the
up.
whole time.
I'm gonna know the behind the scenes point of that too, because you can clearly tell it's
like
legit
he's howling
laughter.
laughter. And Jim
Like-
Gaffigan is also laughing.
Yeah, I
And-
think that's more like character stage. And
Yeah.
like kind of chuckling. Like, did you say meow?
Right.
I say meow.
Do I look like I'm drinking out of a saucer?
Jump from limb to limb, drinking milk out of a saucer.
Yeah.
But
and so,
Steve
like,
Lemmy
you think
plays
I'm
Mac.
jumping limb from limb, all bimbly bimbly?
Oh,
Like,
nimbly bimbly like.
Do I look like a cat to you, boy? Am I jumping around all nimbly bimbly from tree to tree? Am I drinking milk from a saucer? Do you see me eating mice?
Steve Lemmy that plays Mac, he's busting a gut. Literally, you see him
just
on
like,
the passenger side window, like his whole body is shaking. He's laughing
Yeah.
so hard. So
And
there
then-
must have been something
yeah.
going on in the background.
and then Foster just goes like, all right, stop laughing, meow. And he just goes like, all right, here's your ticket. Not so funny, meow, is it? And then
Max holding
Mac's all
up
like,
9.
and he goes like, and walks back over and just meow. It's just, those fucking pranks are hilarious. And then doing the repeater was hilarious.
Yep. Oh my god, when
When they first pull over the big huge truck driver.
So, yeah, they pull over a semi truck. They're doing the repeater. They're trying to be serious, or at least Foster's trying to be serious at that point.
He goes like, all right, gotta do this seriously for O'Hagan. He goes like, all right,
Right.
serious for O'Hagan.
Right,
So he's like,
right.
just literally telling him
immediately starts
exactly.
it. So they pull over the truck driver, and they're asking him what's in the back, and he's like, "Oh, I think soap mostly." And then he ends up like locking them in the back.
Yeah.
And then Thorny and Rabbit.
Yeah, 2 hours later,
2
they're
hours
still stuck
later-
in there. And then they open up
they end up
the
opening
back.
and saving them essentially.
And then love the fact that Mac just goes like, and that was the second time I got
Exactly
crashed.
what it's gonna be. So that was the second time. So they're just shooting the shit casually in the
Yeah.
back and talking
And
about.
then Thorny goes like, so what's this guy hauling? And then Mac
Oh,
goes
when
like,
he opens the door
"So,
too,
mostly."
smells like sex in here.
Yeah. Like, and of course that's just a huge fucking like thing. Like whenever you walk in with a group of guys, and it's like, oh man, it smells like sex in here.
It's like sex. What were you guys doing?
Yeah, it's all like, god damn, like it stinks. Like, the hell are you guys doing in here?
Right.
But then when Thorny asks like, what was this guy hauling? Literally what they were just like saying too, kind of like doing the whole repeater joke.
Right.
But with being serious, and he goes like, Mac just reiterates what the truck driver says. It's like soap, I think.
Right.
And then they immediately just like take out one box and it falls, and it's like, how the hell are you gonna just pack in 3 bars of soap and the whole thing is just weed?
Yeah.
Like a whole thing of weed. Like how the hell is that inconspicuous?
Budgetary constraints, I'm sure.
Probably. Because then at the end of the movie we find out the real reason that all this stuff is going on.
Exactly.
Anyway, so but no, like the repeater joke is hilarious because Foster initially just goes like, do you mind stepping down with your license registration? And then Mac like slides in right next to him and says the exact same thing. And then when they go up onto the back to check out the boxes, and he just goes like, "Oakley dokley, I'm a silly little guy right now." And he goes like, "Yep, you sure are." And so it's just like, oh man, like he's like, "Yep, you are." And especially where he goes like, what's his name, like Galakanokis?
Yeah, right.
And he just goes like, "Okay, let's go, Mr. Galakanokis." Like he doesn't even remember his name.
Can't even say it.
But then you've got when they're back at the precinct. Hut, the precinct, and like he's on the computer, he just goes like, starts doing stuff on the computer, going like, enhance.
I'll just print the damn thing.
Enhance.
Just print the damn thing.
Because like they're doing like a CSI bit where
Right.
it's just like every single time somebody's on the computer, they're like, enhance that image, and then it's just like they're enhancing the image to make it more clearer and
It's
zooming in
just
and stuff.
TV
But,
nonsense.
Yeah,
totally
it's like that
poking
was
fun
just
at
that
it.
whole bit of him just going like enhance.
Enhance.
Just small bits like that are just funny.
Well, they're
like,
classic. You can always
and
reference
especially
them
if you
randomly.
know where it comes from, then it's like, oh man, like they did the CSI joke, like,
Right.
And it's like, that's not how computers work. Everybody knows that's not how computers work.
Exactly.
Like when you're trying to quote unquote enhance an image, the image is just blurry. You can't enhance it. You can't unblur it. That's just how you took it.
Right.
So, but then you've got the Poland Storch. I did that backwards.
The what?
The stolen
The
Porsche.
Poland Storch?
I did that backwards, and I didn't even.
Hey,
mean to do
Po
that.
Buddy's nerfed.
Yeah. The stolen Porsche scene where they pull over the Porsche, and where Rabbit's trying to bang the guy's wife.
Yep.
Like because they're from Germany and stuff.
Right.
Like that whole thing is hilarious because Thorny comes up and he goes like, "Hey, we got like
That
a
car's
Porsche."
hot.
Yeah, and Farver looks up the information. And he goes like, "That Porsche is hot." And he's
Right.
like, "Are you sure?" And he goes like, "Yep." And while in the meantime, Rabbit is trying to basically like bang her on the hood of the car in public, I guess, like on the side of the highway with Thorny's kid, who's also
He's
there,
like staring at them the entire time.
and it's all
Weird.
like, what the hell? And then Thorny comes over to tell Rabbit about like, hey, like this Porsche is hot, like it's stolen. He goes like, any other time I would show you how to do this,
swing.
but right now we got to take these guys in.
Yep.
Like we got to repo the car. Like we got to actually do our job here. He goes
Yep.
like, all right. And the kid comes out of the car and they both just turn around and go like, get back in the car.
Right.
And when they are back in the car and he goes like, hey, why don't you sit on Uncle Rabbit's lap? And
Yeah.
he just goes like, I don't think that's such a good idea right now, Thorny.
Oh, yeah.
He goes like, I don't think that's such a good idea.
Thorny totally gets it. He's like, oh, yeah, that's right. Well, it should just sit in the middle here.
Yeah. One of my favorite bits is like that Foster's trying to get with what's her name?
Ursula.
Ursula for the cop.
Yep.
Because
Cop
she's
lady.
on radio.
Yep.
And we later find out why she's on the radio all the time. It's just because that they're basically having these guys come through with a bunch of weed to sell to the Canadians.
The local cops are kind of helping traffic the drugs, the weed into town, and the highway patrol are super troopers. They don't know that, of course.
Yeah, they don't know that. They just pull over the semi driver because he misses the weigh-in station.
Right. Well, and that's
So-
such a good bit too. Like the local cops and the highway patrol are at odds the entire time.
Oh yeah, because like initially in the first part of the movie where it's all like they're eating at the diner and both Thorny and Rabbit are competing by
Chugging
drinking
maple
syrup.
Yep.
And Rabbit of course loses, and then that whole bit when Thorny and Rabbit come up to talk to the police officers, and they're like, "Oh yes, the waiter's here," and he goes like, "Yeah, I'll have two tacos and an
a burrito.
enchilada and stuff," and he goes like, "Yeah, I'll have the chinchilla," and he goes like, "I don't get it, Mexican food." He goes like, "They think I'm Mexican."
I'm Mexican.
But
Then
he's
Rabbit's
just
like, "You're not."
Yeah, he goes like, "Well, you're not." And he just goes like, "What?" And where Rando is his name.
Yeah.
Where he gets up and he starts laughing, and like Mac throws the empty bottle of syrup at his head, and he just goes like, "Hey, who fucking threw that?" And he goes like, "Ha ha!"
Like,
And then he goes like, "Hey, don't make him come over there." He goes like, "Sit down, Rando," and he goes like, "All right." So then he starts sitting down. He throws it
another one
again.
at
He goes like, "Oh, that's it." And so then they all start fighting.
Oh, what the fuck? Hey, I saw that.
Sit down, Rando.
It's such a
good
good
movie.
it's such a good
Oh god.
like it's not even a bit. It's just a good scene for them just to clash with each other.
Right. Well,
and then
it really helps like outline and define it shows rather than tells like
Right.
the relationship between these two.
yeah, it's all like because
opposing
obviously they have
forces.
their own designated spots that they would sit at.
Yeah.
And of course, like highway jurisdiction.
Yep.
Why are the cops there later on and stuff like that, like pulling people over, and then like them talking about it, having that banter of going like, "Did you guys forget what color car you have?" And then they'll drive off,
Yes.
and then they're like, "Bye-bye."
Flipping them off.
Yeah. and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, these guys think that they can come on our turf and do this.
Yep.
And then they're like, okay, hit the lights, and then you're whoop whoop, and then they drive off.
Yep.
It's just like, yeah, that whole thing.
Yep.
But especially where it's like the squad car is driving up next to the semi. They're not pulling them over. They're not doing anything. They're like, what the hell are they doing?
Right.
And then they flash their lights and they're like, all right, we need to get out of here. And of course, with that, at the end of the movie, kind of clicks all of it together of going like, okay, they're on the radio with the truck driver, tell him, hey, don't tell him nothing.
Yeah.
Like if they're planning on doing this, do this, and blah, 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 and whatever, because they know how they operate and stuff.
Totally.
So it was probably the cop's idea to lock them in the back of the cab. Or not in the cab, but like the trailer.
The trailer, yeah.
And stuff. But like then afterwards, what was it? The one of my favorite bits that I forgot about was like the when he has the trench coat on and he's just wearing underwear.
Oh yeah.
And he's trying to get Ursula's attention, and then all of a sudden a guy with the shotgun comes up behind him, goes like, shh, drop your coat. He says, drop your coat and touch your toes. He goes like, what? He goes like, I'm gonna show you where the wild goose goes, and brings up the coat. He goes like, hey man, I'm naked. I'm a cop. He goes like, Ursula, help! And then he just goes like, honey, I'm gonna butter your bread. And so he's like, wait a second, turns around, it's Ursula with a voice modulator.
Right.
So she just goes like, you don't have one of these at your station? He goes like, I think I might need a new pair of underwear.
Right.
And then they of course have sex, and all this to basically set up them having sex in the Winnebago, because the cops got that bust because they found a Winnebago like by a stretch of highway, and they find out that it's a crime scene because some girl was murdered in the Winnebago.
There, and there's a random like hog in there too.
Yeah, and then especially when Mac and Foster come up and Rabbit's telling him like, yeah, there's a hog in there. Or initially he goes like, sounds like guy's got a hog problem. He goes like, yeah. He goes like, he's angry. And then a couple minutes roll by while they're talking and stuff, Thorny and the captain of the police, and talking about whose jurisdiction it is and everything. And then Mac comes out, he's all bloodied up.
Right.
And he just goes like, do you know there's a dead girl in there? Like,
we're just out here for a hog.
He's just trying to wrestle the hog and stuff. And then they had the giant brawl between them. And
I love
stuff.
that part where after the brawl is done, like random people are like
they're all
cuffed
cuffed and stuff
by the other force, and
yeah,
I think
and
it's
then
what
Thorny's all
Thorny
like,
and Ursula are talking.
yeah,
It's
they're like,
I'll give you Mac for the fat and
guy.
stupid one. Like,
Yeah, and so she goes like, you're gonna have to basically reemphasize, like, because they're all pretty fat and stupid.
Right,
like, yeah,
right.
that's true. But yeah, and then like that's their first brawl. The second brawl that they have is like at the end of the movie.
Oh yeah.
So when they're all drunk.
Oh, that big one. Yeah, right.
So, but the
no, I'm sober as a bird.
Yeah.
While he's literally like shaking.
But then you've got the because Foster hooks up with Ursula again in the back of his squad car.
Yeah.
And
they
then
both close the doors.
yeah.
And she's like,
we need somebody to open the door from
someone
outside.
needs to open the door from the outside.
And he goes like,
Just
fuck
like
it.
looking at it, like, fuck it.
Yeah, and so then they have sex. And then like all this just to say that like they're having sex behind each other's precincts backs.
Right. No
and
one
like
knows
nobody
about
knows
it.
about it or anything like
keeping
that.
it under the radar.
So but the way that they go about it is the most hilarious way possible, because at this point Farver is back on the road because Rabbit took the Porsche out for a spin and was speeding down the highway, and Farva is at a gas station, and it's all like, oh yeah,
fly by.
Yeah, sees him fly by because he goes like, he sees a thing for you get a free hot dog if you get 10 gallons
of
and
gasoline.
it stops at 9 gallons or something,
like 19 or something like that.
And
so
he
he
pours
just puts
the
it in
rest
the
of it
trash can up until it's just over.
and then
10
you see him
gallons.
walk out with the hot dog eating it. It's all like, you got to really emphasize that he's a fat guy.
He's
like,
fat and stupid. Like,
yeah,
probably been cheaper just to go in and buy the hot dog yourself.
Right. It's all like, and I saw the amount of gas price was. It was like $1.74 or something. I'm like, oh man, I wish it was that much. Like, damn. And it just made me a little sad. I'm like, oh,
right.
Like now it's almost like $3 again.
I'm trying to escape into this fantasy world of this movie, and it's making me think of reality, and I'm sad again.
Yeah. Now I gotta have the ha-has and the hoo-hoos and the hee-hees.
Now I just have the boo-hoos.
Yeah, the boo-hoos and the boo-hooies. But at this point, Thorny is trying to convince both Mac and Foster to switch people.
Yeah.
Trying to switch partners.
I love that Mac's reaction, like cross-eyed.
He's
Do
all
we
like,
look like the two dumbest people in the world
right now? And he just goes like, come on, it'll be fun. Trying to psychoanalyze them and stuff.
Like,
and he just goes
come on,
like,
Mac, you always tell me how Foster smells.
he goes like, no, your psychology is not going to work on me. And then Foster turns to him. He goes like, do I really smell? And he goes like, eh. Yeah. And they're like, all right, well, we got to go and investigate this whole like sting operation thing. And he goes like, but we can't take our squad car, but for whatever reason, the back of your door
for no reason at all, you decided to rip off the back door or whatever he says.
And he just goes like, no, it wasn't me. It was these kids that had the wrenches.
Kids
and he goes
with
like,
wrenches.
yeah, that's
when you were
right.
in a deep sleep.
Yeah. And he goes like, I was in a deep sleep. Ah, yes, the kids with wrenches.
Right.
And he goes like, well, we could take this. Takes the giant semi.
Yep.
And then they both don't know how to drive it.
Oh, and I love like their trucker get-ups too.
Yeah, like they're
both
undercover.
Have, like, long hair. One's like curly.
Yeah. And he just goes like, all right, here we go. And then like it stalls out. And then they switch seats, and then it stalls out again.
Well,
it's like, yeah, here we go. And then it stalls out again.
Well, and I just love the fact that scene, clearly they were not mic'd inside the semi-truck. They just probably had booms on the outside.
Right.
Because you can barely hear Steve Lemmy plays Mac just say like, who'd have thunk it was a stick?
Yeah.
And then the scene just cuts. Yeah, that's semi-trucks. They're sticks.
Yeah. It's like, oh, who would have thought that semis were sticks? Because it's just to emphasize how much that they don't drive stick. But then you've got the whole Leader of Cola bit at the place. And
burger joint.
Yeah. And just him tackling him is hilarious. Because then he's also like, he's
jumping
doing
over
something.
the counter.
I think it was like rubbing the chicken nuggets on his nuts or something like that.
No, I think he's just like wiping something off his shirt.
Yeah, but he also had food in his hands. So it was
did
all
he?
like, and he was looking down. So I
that.
don't know if he was like rubbing the food on his nuts or.
They're already talking about spitting in burgers and holding the spit. So
right.
Yeah, I guess that wouldn't be too far from the.
Because like
movie.
I remember that because like I know that there was like the chocolate pretzel bit from Mallrats, if you remember that, or if you've seen that.
Yeah.
Where he goes like, would you like a chocolate covered pretzel? And like, especially with that whole bit, in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, where it's all like, they're talking about the Blunt Man and Chronic movie, and then he goes like, "Would you like a chocolate covered pretzel?" and that, so it's kind of like that whole thing, but just him tackling the kid over the counter, and then him throwing the fries up in the air and screaming, is hilarious.
Well, I love where Farva's in Brian Cox's office afterwards, and
Brian Cox is like watching the footage.
As soon as the footage shows Farva like jumping over the counter and tackling the kid,
he's just
rewinding it, just complete like
disgruntled and everything.
Fuck, am I looking at?
Yeah, and like him reacting, like getting closer to the TV and then backing up and stuff and everything, and he goes like, "I can't have you doing this. Right. What? That's it. You're back on the radio."
Yeah. Never again on the road.
Yeah, never again. And especially where it's all like, they've talked about it a couple times, but then we actually get to see it in the end, like as a credits scene, where it's all like, I heard that you were on the radio because like you had a like with the school bus and stuff like that. It's like we don't really get to see it, but then at the end credits, like that's when we get to actually see the incident.
It's like the cruiser footage.
Because like he pulls over a school bus for some reason, and then like there's these kids that are like talking to him because you see him looking up. You don't hear anything,
right?
But then they just start dumping their milk on him, and then they start tackling him because now he's in the bus. He comes out of the back of the bus through the emergency exit, and then he's just got like 5 of them all over him and stuff. Like it's just super bizarre.
Kick the shit out of like little school kids, like 5th graders at best.
Yeah, but
oh man,
and then. One of my favorite bits besides the trench coat is like the shenanigans bit, where it's like they're all smoking weed. Well, they're taking inventory of their stock of stuff that they have, and they're all like, Johnny Chimpo is like basically the brand.
Yeah,
that's
so
on the giant things
monkey,
of wood. Or wood pots.
Cartoon. That's on a sticker
that's like
of all like the weed
animation.
bags. Yeah.
So
they bring in the German dude that they pulled over earlier to kind of like translate.
Yeah. Because then they start talking about. Well, Max starts talking about like, did you review the footage from Johnny Chimpo? And he goes like, yeah, there's funny, but there's nothing there. And he just goes like, but are you sure there's nothing there?
Closer look?
And so then they start alluding to all the pot, and so they start smoking it to see if there's anything, but they're all just like having a laugh fest about it.
Oh yeah, and they got the German guy in there translating.
Yeah.
And apparently like translate to like anti-American sentimentalism, like take down the oligarchy of America or whatever.
Yeah, and then Brian Cox comes in and he just goes like, okay, so Galifianakis is not the butler? And he goes like, well, possibly.
Right.
He could be the butler.
Well, before that, even like Rabbit immediately puts out the joint he's smoking, and then Thorny and Mac and probably Foster, they just don't even care. They just still hold on to theirs. Like you can see throughout the rest of the scene, they're still like smoke. Or are they smoking cigarettes?
Yeah. I saw that Mac had a cigarette in his hand, and so did the German guy. The German guy also had a cigarette.
Okay, so that's what it is. Because I noticed the rest of that scene. There's like a little smoke.
Yeah, because like the whole room is basically like
they're hotboxing it.
Yeah, and like they're obviously high, but like Rabbit, like before that they had the German guy, they were smoking a joint. And then he's smoking a cigarette, but then Mac is also smoking a cigarette. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. But it could be to like allude to the fact of just being like, okay, well, he's probably just holding it for the smoke and not actually smoking it, because it like obviously would smell like weed.
Yeah.
So, but then they but yeah, Brian Cox comes in and then he's all like what did we find out? And he goes like, well, take the meatball back to his cell. And Rabbit goes like, all right, come on, meatball. And he leaves, and now it's just like Foster, Thorny, and Mac. And then they start talking about whatever. I don't remember specifically. And then they're like talking about the shenanigans that they pull. He goes like, come on, guys. Like, I can't have you pulling shenanigans. Like, and everything like that. And goes like, our shenanigans are cheeky and fun. Fiverr's is just like tragic and tragic. Cruel. And then he just goes like, I'm gonna pistol whip the next person that says shenanigans.
Then you just see that look on Mac's face, like,
It was like,
hey, Farvo, what's that restaurant that you really like with all the goofy shit all over the walls?
and the mozzarella sticks. And
Mozzarella
he just
sticks.
goes like, you mean shenanigans?
Oh, you mean shenanigans?
And then Mac pulls out his pistol. And he goes like, put those away.
Shenanigans are cheeky and fun.
Yeah, I mean, his shenanigans are cruel and tragic.
Which makes them not shenanigans at all, really.
Evil shenanigans.
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
Hey, Farva, what's the name of that restaurant you like with all the goofy shit on the walls and the mozzarella sticks? You mean shenanigans? Oh. You're talking about shenanigans, right?
Put those away.
That
And
whole
then
thing.
Rabbit comes back.
Yeah, Rabbit comes back,
like,
and he's got lipstick
all
on
over
his face. And he goes like, have your fun, boys, have your fun. And like,
what's it?
like
Thorny's
Thorny's like, Rabbit.
Rabbit.
He points at his lips and goes like,
He's
yeah, you got
I know.
big, beautiful brown lips.
Have your fun, boys. I'm gonna go start applying for other jobs. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
like they're not
Brian
taking it
Cox says.
seriously. But, and then at this point, I was all like, wait, where's the bulletproof jockstrap scene? And then it's actually right after this, because then they're at the shooting range and like they're talking about like, oh, like we got to figure something out and like trying to either apply for jobs or try to do this and try to get this bust.
Yep.
And, which I just now remember this, the whole Winnebago scene, because like they, because Foster and Ursula, to go back to what I was talking about earlier, was like they have sex in the Winnebago, and so she jumps on him.
Yep.
And on the bed, and then breaks the bed, and then that's when they find a bunch of other pot that's in there.
Yep.
To set up the whole fact of going like, okay, this whole thing is connected. We just don't know how, but it's all connected some way.
Exactly.
And but back to this bit of Mac pulling up with his bulletproof like steel jockstrap, and them shooting at it, because then he goes like, all right, Thorny, how are you shooting? He goes like, been dead on all morning. He goes like, well, what about that guy?
And then there's one
And he
on the
goes
back.
like, that little guy? I won't worry about that little guy. And he goes like, all right, it's good enough for me. And then like, then they start shooting him, and he like gets blown back. And he goes like, how are you feeling, Mac? He goes like, enough. Or he goes like, still enough to fuck your mother. And
right?
stuff.
How you feeling there, Mac? Good enough to fuck your mother!
Just screams that, and then the chief comes back, because then Mac has Thorny, or not Thorny, but Rabbit, who's about to throw up.
Right.
He goes like, all right, Rabbit, your turn. He goes like, just don't get puke on it. And then Mac is also fully butt naked.
Oh, 100%
he's
butt
only
naked.
wearing it too.
Yeah, right.
And fucking Brian Cox comes pulling up, and he goes like, oh, the whole bulletproof gag, huh? And he goes like,
right.
yep.
Back in my day, we used to make the rookie wear.
Yeah. And he goes like, especially when he gets out, he goes like, hey, Chief. And he's just butt naked.
Yeah, right.
And he goes like, oh man, we used to make the rookie wear it. And then grabs the Thorny's gun and shoots it at his window. And he goes, and we also used to use blanks.
Looks over at Mac. You're a
like,
sick motherfucker, Mac.
He goes like,
Thanks, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
Only in my day, the rookie got naked. And we also use blanks. You're a sick motherfucker, Mac.
Thanks, Chief.
Because I would assume that they didn't hear a word that he said.
Oh, probably
But
not. But
now-
also, that's kind of like in their relationship dynamic. Of
Yeah.
course, Brian Cox can be serious about something like that. And
Right.
Mac's just like, huh, yep, I'm an idiot.
Yeah. Because like they're all just like a bunch of idiots and stuff. They're just screwing around
Well,
because
that's
like
part of
they're
their
a
charm,
highway.
though.
Yeah. Like they're highway cops. Nothing really happens on the highway. Just catch speeders all the time. And
Right.
That's it.
Exactly.
So, but then you also have the whole plan that they devise at like the party that they have.
Yeah.
For the congresswoman to come in.
Yep. To show all the weed that they found on the Winnebago.
Yeah. And then it turns out that like the cops took the whole thing, but it's only because that Farva sold them out, which we find out after the whole sting operation.
Yep.
But the whole thing is, it's not hilarious, but just one segment of this is hilarious. like Rabbit's ploy to get the two cops that are at the precinct to come
distract
out.
the cops. Yep.
Because he's basically quote unquote fucking a bear,
right?
Because he has a bear
he's
costume,
like in a hunter costume that has like a bear
that's strapped to his crotch, because it's supposed to basically where it's like one of those inflatables,
right?
It's like you walk around and it's supposed to look like that you're riding a horse or an alien has abducted you,
right? But in this case, it's showing that you're fucking a bear.
Yeah.
Well, and this scene kind of like dates this movie a bit too, because it's an old school, to make the sounds of the bear, they've got like an old school like radio with a cassette play.
Yeah, where it's like making bear noises.
Yep.
And he's just like the whole time hooling and go like, yeah, woohoo, and everything.
Yeah.
And like the fact that they're both in disbelief, they're like, it does.
Is
like,
he?
Is he?
Is the
I don't
bear?
know. So
he gets on like the blowhorn and is like,
bear.
Hey, bear
fucker.
Looks around both ways. Fucker.
Yeah, he goes like, bear fucker, do you need assistance? Right. He goes like, oh yeah, he's like waving
at them.
Oh yeah, woo. But just that bit is just hilarious. But
so funny.
And then of course you have to have the struggle of where Foster thinks that it's Ursula that sold them out, but it was really Farva, because then they go back to the precinct and then Farva's wearing the
cop uniform, emptying out his locker. Yeah,
and they're all drunk at this point. And I also have this written down too, was like when Mac walks by Farva, because he needs to go call them to let them know, like, hey, you know, like we've only got a few minutes because the Congresswoman's only going to be here for a few more minutes.
Right.
So Thorny and Foster, you guys got to hurry up. And freaking Farva is just elated that it's open bar.
Right.
So he's drinking the whole time and he's
Mac
barfing.
told Farva that it was supposed to be like a bowling alley, like who knows where.
Yeah, and then he actually finds out where it's actually at, and he goes like, I thought that you told him that it was at this place. He goes like, I did. He must have found the invitation or something.
Right.
So but literally where it's like Farva's coming back from the bathroom and he's holding a beer and he goes like, hey Mac, do you want to go punch for punch? And Mac just initially comes up, punches him in the gut, and he goes like, oh, that's on me, I didn't specify. And he goes like,
do not shoot a shitter.
Yeah, and he goes like, Lady Blue coming through. I'm just like, it's great. That just him saying Lady Blue coming through like, in pain was hilarious to me.
Neck attack! Wanna go punch for punch? Oh, good one! I did not specify! Never shit a shitter! Lady in Blue coming through!
Just can't help himself. He's drunk off his ass.
Yeah, it's all like when you're at an open bar, you just drink. And I don't know.
Take it easy, Mac.
Yeah.
Open bar, dude.
Yeah, and I don't know if you watched all the way through the credits, but at the very end, it has a clip of Farva puking. And like then they're like,
it's
okay,
like kind of
we got it.
Scene stuff, yeah. Yep.
Like I missed when comedies used to do the behind the scenes stuff.
Oh yeah, or like outtakes or whatever. Like even not even just comedies, with like Jackie Chan flicks too. Back in the day.
Just him, just like especially in Rush Hour, where that was his first like English speaking role that he had in the U.S. Like he would mess up like the line because he didn't know how to actually say it in English.
Right. He was
or he would
not
miss
his first language in general.
No. And like especially where it's all like where he'd be like cheese and he goes like it's freeze and he goes like oh freeze, okay. Like, oh man, I miss Jackie Chan. Which he's gonna be in the next Karate Kid movie.
Yeah.
So
I'm interested in that.
Yeah. I'm like, cool, we got him and we got the original Karate Kid.
Yep.
So that'll be awesome.
Hopefully.
But then you've got the last bit when they're all like hammered to shit.
Yeah.
And they're taking Farva's squad car and stuff.
Right.
Then now at this point they're just messing around. They're like, well, we're gonna lose our jobs anyway. We want to mess with some people, so they pull over one guy. Brian Cox comes up and he goes like, license and registration.
Right,
and then he's like pissing on the side of his car, and the guy looks over and he goes like, well, you gotta go.
You gotta go.
Like what? But well, then you've got then at the end they get fired because they stop the bust. They're all fighting the cops again.
Yep.
And then you've got where they all get arrested except for like the highway tropes.
Right.
I think it's like 3 months later after that.
Something like that. Yeah, there's a bit of a time jump.
Yeah, it's the time jump. I think it's like some odd months later, and they're all coming up to the chief's house to open the letter. Right? Yeah, the captain, so that way that he can open the letter, because he hasn't opened it yet, from the congresswoman, and saying like, "Hey, really love your stuff.
Thank you
really
for the bus.
Yeah, thanks for the bus. Blah blah blah." But we've ultimately decided not to continue on with your guys' service.
Right. Best of luck to y'all. What's he say?
He says like, Congress, fuckhead.
Fuckhead. Yeah, right.
And then it's all like cut to another time jump of 2 years later. Thorny and Rabbit are delivering a keg to a house party.
Yep.
And
get to the door.
And then it's like the same kids from the
opening scene. Yeah.
So
it's funny. They bookend the movie. I guess I understood that, but I just now realized.
Yeah. It's all like, oh man, like that's hilarious. But then you got the same kids, and they're like, oh man, like they start freaking out as soon as they see
the
him.
dude like running down the street. Beer, kegs here!
Yeah, and then so he's all like, oh god, no! And he's like trying to run upstairs.
Oh,
He's like, no! Like these guys are cool. Like they got fired. And it's like, oh sweet. And that was just hilarious. And then they're like, okay, like they start messing with them,
right?
Like they mess with them.
You know, I think for the feng shui, it'd be better if you put it over
there. And then it's like, you know what?
For the flow, you should put it back to where you had it originally.
Yeah, he goes like, all right, like I need a signature. Like, who's paying for this? And he goes like, well, I'm not exactly 21, but my friend here, Abraham Lincoln, never told a lie. And he goes like, actually, it was George Washington that never told a lie. He goes like, you guys drive a hard bargain. Drives out another $1.
Right.
And then he hands
him. Why don't you guys split it and rips it in half?
He goes like, you ready for the fun part? Yeah, let's do the fun
part. Then Rabbit, who
like,
doesn't have a mustache the entire movie,
rips it off. And then he just goes like, Spurbury Police, rips off their uniforms. Right. And then everybody leaves except for those two kids.
Yeah, they just like go against the wall, put their hands behind their head.
Yeah.
Then like Ursula, Mac, Foster come in.
Yeah, and then like Mac's just like raising the roof, and like all these kids are just running past them.
It's like they just have a vendetta against these kids for some reason. Yeah. The ones that like from the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And they don't try to bust anybody else that's running out.
And it's funny because then the other kid,
the one
runs
in the back
upstairs
from
the basement, and he goes like, I love acid.
Underwear, right? I love acid.
And then all of them are standing there. They all turn around, and he goes like, turns around and runs, and then Farva finally comes in,
full SWAT gear, shield and everything.
And then he's all like, what the hell? Why didn't anybody tell me that we were coming in? And then it just turns into like them having fun with the kids, like smoking pot, drinking and stuff, and that whole shtick. But
I love the part where the kid that ate all the drugs at the beginning that at the end runs up saying, I love acid.
Yeah,
they're playing like one of those like duck shooter games where he's like walking back and forth from a like the section from like living room to the kitchen. Yeah. They're like throwing just like soft things at him, and then all of a sudden fire extinguisher gets thrown at him,
and then you just hear Mac like, Farva, and he's like, and then it just cuts, and then that's the end of the movie, guys.
Such a good movie.
And now is actually the point of the show where we talk about this being a rent, buy, or skip. Hence the reason why this is called RBS in the first place.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You said that last time.
Oh, I repeated a joke.
You did a repeater.
Ah!
Hey, let's go.
Fits in the theme. That was on purpose.
Or was it? I don't know.
Or was it?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know. But for those of you that don't know, Rent is just like, okay, I'll occasionally watch it. I like it enough to where it's all like, I don't want to actually own it. Buying is, of course, you love it so much. It's your favorite movie, so you decide to go out to the store, buy it, hold it, put it up on your shelf, go and watch it every so often.
Sleep with it at night.
Yep, put it on your pillow.
Don't let the tooth fairy grab it.
Maybe have sex with it if you love it that much, like Morbius or Madam Web.
Is a hole in the disc,
DVD,
so you could say it's Morbid time, and you're gonna
it's Morbid time. So
this is another conversation I choose not to continue.
Yes, I'm gonna stop this bit. It's not funny.
Cut that.
No, keep it And then, of course, skip is just don't even waste your time. It's not like, yeah, just
It's like
don't even watch it.
Borderlands.
Or Snow White from 2025.
Oh.
I heard that movie is dog shit. I don't know if you've seen this.
No.
I've talked about this on the podcast before, but I don't know if you've seen this. But it overthrew Dragon Ball Evolution for being one of the worst movies.
Really?
Yeah, from animation to live action.
Wow.
So.
That's knuckin' futz.
Yeah. I mean, you know how piece of shit Dragon Ball Evolution is, right? Unfortunately.
Well, there was that time like a year or so ago where I was trying to watch it.
And you just couldn't get through it?
This was like 4 years ago by now, because this was back before I got my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to watch it just because I was trying to give it a fair chance again.
Right. Maybe it can't be that
such
bad
a big
now that
Dragon
I'm
Ball
older.
Z movie. Yeah, like maybe it does have some charm, yada, yada, yada. I think I messaged you so much that it took me 2 hours to watch like, 30 or 40 minutes of the movie. And then I just stopped because I was done. It's like, no. There is no charm to this movie.
No, it's not. It's not a hidden gem. It's not good by any means.
No,
but
yeah.
To also say that Snow White is also worse than that, now you've got a crowning achievement.
Yeah.
So it's all like, okay, between these two movies, which one would you rather watch, Dragon Ball Evolution or Snow White? I'd rather go for Dragon Ball Evolution, honestly.
Yeah, that's fair. Good job, Disney.
So-
You achieved something. It's just not what you were trying to.
Which they also apparently like had another live action remake that they were going to do, but they decided to scrap it because of this movie, because of how poorly it's been doing.
Oh no.
So it's like Mufasa. Nobody asked for a Mufasa movie.
I heard that was better than the original remake, though. Live action adaptation.
Well, again, you can't really call it live action if it's just another form of animation. So,
exactly.
I mean,
but live action Lion King movie.
Yeah, it's like, what the heck? But regardless of a shit movie, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Why don't you go first? I think I've gone first every other time I've guest hosted.
Yes. So for me, I would have to say that it's a buy.
Fuck yeah!
Because you want to fuck the disc?
Yes. But that's besides the point. No, like ever since I watched this movie, it's been one of my favorite comedies of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Easily one of my favorites. And if it's not in my top 5, it's in my top 10 favorite comedy movies.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of the gags and the goofs and everything about it. And like I said earlier, literally I would quote it before the thing would actually come on, and I would still laugh at the bit.
It's just that funny.
And like, you could reference this to anybody and everybody knows what you're talking about.
Even if they haven't seen it.
Right.
That's the beauty of this movie.
Yeah.
It's such an impact on the cultural zeitgeist that everyone knows random
meow
quotes
bit,
from it. Meow.
The shenanigans bit.
Right.
Like
chicken fucker.
Yeah. Or like leader of cola. Like it's only those certain things that you just have to say out in public in front of people that they're just like, oh man, Super Troopers, I love that movie. And then you could have that conversation with that person.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, like just for that alone is why it's like one of my favorites. Just all the bits. Like, I mean, even when you can get literally a liter of cola, you think of Super Troopers because it's all like liter of cola. Do we even make liter of cola? Like that whole thing.
Do we have liter of cola?
Yeah. And then it's all like, I don't want a large farva. I want a goddamn liter of cola. Like,
I don't want a large farva.
Yeah. It's all like, it just makes it even better. But yeah, for those reasons, I'd say that it's a buy.
Yeah.
So
I think, I mean, I couldn't say it any better. It's a buy for me.
Fuck yeah!
Buy it on DVD, buy it on Blu-ray, buy it on streaming.
Yeah, I mean, I used to have it on DVD. I don't know what happened to it, but I bought it on digital, so now I actually have it. And I also have the second one because I bought it as a combo pack.
Nice. I need to get the second one. I have the first one on DVD. I was able to watch it because currently in the States, it's streaming on Hulu.
Nice.
I believe the second one as well, so I'm probably honestly going to go home after this and watch the second one.
Yeah. There's sometimes when I'll talk about like these movies, not this movie specifically, but like the first one in a series, like John Wick, and it's all like, oh man, now I want to watch the second one,
Right.
And now I just want to watch the whole
Just
freaking
continue with
franchise.
the franchise, right.
And so it's all like,
Well, the beauty of this movie is, yes, there's only 2 Super Trooper movies, but Broken Lizard, like we mentioned earlier, has Beer Fest, Slam and Salmon, Hunchback. Was that called Hunched? I forget what it's called.
So. I can't remember
Something
what it's
like
called.
that. But yes, it's not like a specific Super Troopers franchise, but you can watch all their movies. You can watch all their filmography.
But no, like I really enjoy this movie. For those of you that haven't seen it, definitely go and watch it.
Yes.
It's a great time.
Yes.
I mean, you can smoke if you want to while watching it. I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying that you should. I'm just saying if you want to partake in some of the devil's lettuce and watch this movie, you can. Which actually sounds like a really great time.
But he's not condoning it.
No.
But it would be hella fun.
It would be funny. It would be really funny.
What if, though? Guys, what if?
What if you smoked and then you watched the movie? Mind-blowing, I know.
No one's probably ever done that before.
I know.
You're a revolutionary person.
Yeah. All that to say, thank you everybody so much for tuning in, watching, listening, however you guys are doing it. You know, you guys can have us on in the background while you're cleaning or while you're at work or driving.
Just
Doesn't
rack
matter.
up them views. Tell your friends. Tell your family.
I want you to tell all your friends about me.
Tell your estranged step-parent from another mother.
Yeah, your brother from another mother. I don't know. Your cat, your dog, your goldfish. I don't know. Somebody. But also leave a comment in the comment section below on a movie that you guys want us to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll shout you out too. And like, you don't have to be somebody that we know. You can be a random person that finds us on the internet. Who cares?
And suffers through it.
So, but yeah, it's all like, hey, I want to hear you guys talk about Dragon Ball Evolution.
No, don't do that.
But don't do that because
I'm going to be busy that week.
Yeah.
Your imaginary friend Sam can join that one.
But yeah, it's Sam. Got some explaining to do, mister. Watch him text me after this too and go like, hey, sorry.
You going to text yourself?
Yeah. But again, thank you all so much for chilling out with us. We're recording this the day before Easter, so with that being said, I hope that you guys had a good Easter, because by the time this comes out, it'll be after Easter. So hope that you guys had a good and safe Easter, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.